Smile and learn.
Greetings, citizens. I am Superlexia, the guardian of spelling and grammar. I help make language excellent by following the rules. Let's defeat spelling and grammar mistakes with the power of clear and impactful expression. Today we're going to talk about contractions of the verb to be. A contraction is two words that turn into one. This makes them faster and easier to say. There are many contractions, but today we're going to look at the ones related to the verb to be. To make a contraction, it's super important to use a punctuation mark called an apostrophe. This is an apostrophe. Now, when you make contractions, remember this rhyme. Drop a letter, apostrophe. Squish together, friends forever. I am. Now, drop a letter, apostrophe, squish together, friends forever. I'm. You are. Drop a letter, apostrophe, squish together, friends forever. Your. See? Making contractions is easy. Here are some more for you to practice. He is. He's. She is. She's. It is. It's. We are. We're. They are. There. Is. Not. Isn't. Are. Not. Aren't. Okay, citizens, now it's your turn to make contractions. Remember, drop a letter, apostrophe, squish together, friends forever. What's the contraction of we and are? We're. What's the contraction of he and is? He's. What's the contraction of I and am? I'm. Finally, what's the contraction of is and not? Isn't. Great job. Farewell, fellow language warriors. May words be forever in your favor. Today we're going to talk about some simple contractions that we use every day. A contraction is two words that turn into one. This makes them faster and easier to say. To make a contraction, it's super important to use a punctuation mark called an apostrophe. This is an apostrophe. Now, when you make contractions, remember this rhyme. Drop a letter, apostrophe, squish together, friends forever. Do not. Now drop a letter, apostrophe, squish together, friends forever. Don't. Does not. Drop a letter, apostrophe, squish together, friends forever. Doesn't. See? Making contractions is easy. Here are some more for you to practice. Has, not. Hasn't. Have, not. Haven't. There, is. Theirs. That, is. That's. Let, us. Let's. Can, not. Can't. Could, not. Couldn't. Okay, citizens, now it's your turn to make contractions. Remember, drop a letter, apostrophe, squish together, friends forever. What's the contraction of does and not? Doesn't. What's the contraction of let and us? Let's. What's the contraction of there and is? Theirs. Finally, what's the contraction of can and not? Can't. Great job! Farewell, fellow language warriors. May words be forever in your favor.
Today, we're going to talk about the rules of capitalization. We use capital or uppercase letters when we write so that it is easier to understand. So, when do we use capital letters? It's not random. There are rules. Just remember this word, mince. Each letter in mince tells us when we use capital letters. M. M stands for months of the year, days of the week, and holidays. You know, January, February, March, April, and so on. Or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on and so on. Holidays are special days, so they need a capital letter. Valentine's Day, April Fool's Day, New Year's Day. Those are some incredible capital letters. Man, I can't wait to celebrate Language Lovers Day this summer. I. I is for the pronoun I. When you write about yourself, you use a capital I. Let me ask you, when you talk about yourself, do you say I? No, you say I. So it needs a capital letter. N. N stands for names or proper nouns. A proper noun is the name of a specific person, place, or thing. Like these. T. T stands for titles. For example, book titles, TV show titles, movie titles, and the titles of plays. But we generally don't capitalize small words in titles, like a, an, the, in, on, at, and, but, or. unless they are the first word in the title. But more on that in a moment. Don't forget, people have titles too. We capitalize titles like Mr., Miss, Captain, Doctor, President, and so on. S. S stands for the start of a sentence or title. We always capitalize the first letter of any sentence or title. Okay, capitalization captains, here's your mission. These sentences are in big trouble. They have no capital letters. Can you save them? Remember, mince. Mighty Mince to the rescue! Now these sentences are safe and sound. Here's to the power of following grammar rules. Super job! Together, we'll continue to be champions of clear communication through the power of spelling and grammar. Farewell, fellow language warriors. May words be forever in your favor.
Today we're going to talk about two tiny words, and an. Equals an. They both mean one. We use or an before a noun or an adjective. But when do we use and when do we use an? Just remember this rule. Goes before a consonant. An goes before a vowel. Let's have a closer look. I'm reading a book. He wants a puppy. There is a zebra at the zoo. A seal can swim. These words start with a consonant, so they are on team a. I have an egg. They live in an igloo. An octopus can swim. She is eating an apple. These words start with a vowel, so they are on team an. It's that easy. A before a consonant and an before a vowel. But beware, there are some sneaky words that have a secret identity. They can make us confused about and an. Words that start with U but sound like Y. Like unicorn. It starts with the vowel U, but we pronounce it like a Y. Unicorn. It sounds like a consonant, so it's on team a. Other words like these on team a are unique. Universe, university, and uniform. Words that start with a silent H. Take the word hour. It starts with the letter H, a consonant. So it should be on team a, right? But wait, It's actually pronounced like hour because the H is silent. That's a vowel sound. So, Anne swoops in to save the day. Some other words with silent H on Team Anne are honest, honor, and herb. Okay, citizens, now it's your turn. Which do we use, a or an? How did you do? A and an. What an amazing superhero duo. Farewell, fellow language warriors. May words be forever in your favor. Today we're going to talk about plural nouns. What are plural nouns? Well, a noun is a person, place, thing, animal, or idea. A plural noun is a word that names more than one person, place, thing, animal, or idea. When we write plural nouns, we always have to look at the end of the word. Normally, we add an S to make a plural noun like this. Cat, cats. Ant, ants. Bed, beds. But beware! Some nouns end like a snake, hissing. Listen to these hissing letters. S, s, x, ch, sh, z. If a noun ends in one of these hissing letters and we want to make it plural, we have to add es and we say ez. Kiss, kisses. Box, boxes. Ostrich, ostriches. Quiz, quizzes. Actually, just one quiz is fine with me. Now, if the noun ends in a Y, we have to look at the letter before the Y and ask ourselves, is it a consonant or a vowel? D is a consonant. So, if there is a consonant before the Y, we have to change the Y to an I and add ES. Teddy, teddies. Story, stories. Bunny, bunnies. Oh, so cute! But what if a vowel comes before the Y? For example, E is a vowel, so if there is a vowel before the Y, we keep the Y and just add S. Easy peasy. Monkey, monkeys. Toy, toys. key, keys. Okay, citizens, here's your mission. These nouns are super, so we want more. Can you make them plural? How did you do? Farewell, fellow language warriors. May words be forever in your favor. Today we're going to learn about a rule called the 1-1-1 rule. It's like a secret code that helps us spell one-syllable words correctly when we add special endings called suffixes. Some examples of suffixes are ing, ed, er, or est. The rule is simple. If a word has one syllable, one vowel in the middle, and one consonant at the end, we double that last consonant before adding the suffix. Let me show you with some examples. Hop is a one-syllable word with one vowel in the middle and one consonant at the end. Add ed and it's hopped. We doubled the P to keep it sounding short and sweet. Sit is a one-syllable word with one vowel in the middle and one consonant at the end. When we add er, it becomes sitter. We doubled the T to keep it sounding nice and tidy. Finally, big is a super one-syllable word with one vowel in the middle and one consonant at the end. Add est and it becomes biggest. We doubled the G to keep it sounding super. So, the 1-1-1 rule helps us make sure these words sound right when we add suffixes. It's like magic, isn't it? Okay, citizens, now let's put your spelling skills to the test. Check out these words. Tap. If we want to add ing, what do we do to the P? Double the P and then add ing. Tapping. Next, sad. What happens to the D if we want to add er? Double the D and then add er. Sadder. Finally, hot. What if we add est? What happens to the T? You got it. Double the T and then add est. Hottest. Great job! All these words follow the 1-1-1 rule. So we double the last consonant before we add a suffix. Farewell, fellow language warriors. May words be forever in your favor. Today we're going to talk about irregular plural nouns. Have you ever noticed that some nouns don't follow the usual rule when they become plural? These are called irregular plural nouns. Let's discover some of the most common ones. One child becomes many children. It's not like the usual s, es, or ies ending we see with most nouns. One person becomes many people. Here, to talk about more than one person, the word changes completely. One man turns into many men. Instead of adding S to make it plural, we change the A to an E. One woman becomes many women. It's similar to man. Let's look at some more irregular plural nouns. Mouse becomes mice. Tooth turns into teeth. Foot turns into feet. And did you know that some strange nouns are the same in singular and plural? For example, sheep stays the same in both singular and plural. Yes, we say one sheep and many sheep. Deer and moose also stay the same in singular and plural. Speaking of animals, wolf becomes wolves in the plural form. In fact, a lot of nouns that end in F or FE drop them and add VES to become plural. For example, leaf, leaves. Thief, thieves. Knife, knives. Life, lives. Irregular plural nouns are a little tricky, but never fear. The best way to remember them is to learn them by heart and read aloud. Then, you'll be a plural noun expert in no time. Farewell, fellow language warriors. May words be forever in your favor.
Today we're going to outer space to talk about comparing. Here we go. This is Mercury, and this is Venus. Mercury is closer to the Sun than Venus. But Venus is hotter than Mercury. Here is Saturn, and this is Jupiter. Saturn is fancier than Jupiter, with its amazing rings. But Saturn is smaller than Jupiter. Words like closer, hotter, fancier, and smaller are comparative adjectives. How do we form these words? Well, Smiley, we add ER to short adjectives to compare two things. Let's learn 4 rules to spell these words correctly. 1. For most words, just add ER. For example, Uranus is colder than Neptune. Cold plus ER makes colder. There are many more words like this. We just add ER. 2. But if a word ends with an E, just add R. For example, Earth is closer to the Sun than Mars. Close ends with an E, so we just add R. Close, closer. Here are some more words that end in E, so we just add R. 3. Double the last consonant, then add ER. If a word has one syllable, one short vowel, and ends with a consonant letter, double the last consonant and then add ER. For example, Earth is hotter than Mars. Hot is one syllable, has one short vowel, and ends with a consonant. So, we double the T and then add ER to make hotter. Here are some other examples where we double the consonant. 4. If a word ends in a Y, change the Y to an I and add ER. For example, Saturn has amazing rings. Saturn is fancier than Jupiter. we change the Y in fancy to an I and add ER. Fancy, fancier. Here are some more words where we change the Y for an I and add ER. Careful! Remember that when an adjective has 2 syllables or more, we don't usually add ER to the end. Instead, we put more in front of it. But don't worry, we'll talk about this in another video. Now let's review. How do we spell these words when we add ER? 1. Neptune is smaller than Jupiter. Just add ER. Smaller. 2. Jupiter is bigger than Mercury. Double the G and add ER. Bigger. 3. Mars is closer to the Sun than Neptune. Just add R. Closer. Finally, Venus is drier than Earth. Change Y to I and add ER. Drier. Farewell, fellow language warriors. May words and planets be forever in your favor. Today we're going to outer space to talk about superlatives. We will explore how to form them and some important spelling rules. Here we go! Look, this is Mercury. It is the smallest planet. And this is Saturn. It is the fanciest planet in our solar system. Look at those rings. Over there is Uranus. It is the coldest planet in our solar system. Words like smallest, biggest, and coldest are superlative adjectives. But how do we form these words? I don't know. Don't worry, Smiley, it's quite easy. We add EST to adjectives to create superlatives. Important, always use the before the adjective. Let's learn 4 rules to spell these words correctly. 1. For one-syllable adjectives, just add EST. For example, Uranus is the coldest planet in the solar system. Cold plus EST makes coldest. There are many more words like this. We just add EST. Young, youngest. Fast, fastest. 2. If a word ends with an E, just add ST. For example, Jupiter is the largest planet in the solar system. Large ends with an E, so we just add ST. Large, largest. Here are some more words that end in E, so we just add ST. Nice, nicest. Strange, strangest. 3. Double the last consonant, then add EST. If a word has one syllable and has a consonant, a short vowel, and a consonant again, we have to double the last consonant. In order to remember, we call this the CVC rule, for consonant, vowel, consonant. For example, Venus is the hottest planet in the solar system. Hot is one syllable long and follows a CVC pattern. So, we double the T and then add EST to make hottest. Here are some other examples where we double the consonant. Big, biggest. Mad, maddest. 4. If an adjective ends in a Y, change the Y to an I and add EST. For example, Earth is the happiest planet in the solar system because it is full of life. Look. We change the Y in happy to an I and add EST. Happy, happiest. Here are some more words where we change the Y to an I and add EST. Funny, funniest. Busy, busiest. Careful! Remember that when a word has 2 syllables or more, we don't usually add EST to the end. Instead, we put the most in front of it. But don't worry, we'll talk about this in another video. Now, let's review. How do you spell these words when we add EST? 1. Uranus is the coldest planet in our solar system. Just add EST. Cold, coldest. 2. Jupiter is the largest planet in the solar system. If it ends with an E, just add ST. Large, largest. 3. Venus is the hottest planet in the solar system. Follow the CVC rule and double the consonant. Hot, hottest. Earth is the happiest planet in the solar system. If an adjective ends in a Y, change the Y to an I and add EST. Happy, happiest. Farewell, fellow language warriors. May words and planets be forever in your favor. Today we're learning how to spell verbs in the third person singular. This is when we talk about one person, thing, or animal in the present tense. Let's go! Look! My super dog plays every day. Did you hear that? She said plays, not play. Why? Because when we talk about one person, animal, or thing in the present tense, we change the main verb a little bit. Our friends super S, super ES, or super IES help us spell these verbs correctly. Let's meet them now. 1. For most verbs, just add super S. For example, my dog jumps over the moon. See? We write jumps with super S at the end. Here are more verbs where super S saves the day. 2. If a verb ends in an S, X, SH, CH, or Z, we add super ES. My super dog always catches the ball. See? Catch ends with CH, so we add super es. It's much easier to say. Here are some other verbs where super es saves the day. 3. Say bye-bye Y and add super ies. My dog flies high in the sky. Fly ends with a consonant plus Y, so we say bye-bye to Y and add super ies. Fly becomes flies. Here are more verbs where super ies saves the day. But be careful. Remember to look at the letter before the Y. If a verb ends in a vowel plus Y, like play, we just add super s. Now, how do we spell these verbs? 1. The dog runs fast. Just add super s, runs. 2. She watches TV. Add super es, watches. 3. The baby cries loudly. Say bye-bye to Y and add super ies, cries. Farewell, fellow language warriors. May verbs be forever in your favor.
We've learned so much in just one video. Did you know there are many more videos? Imagine how much you could learn. Subscribe to the Smile and Learn educational channel to learn and have fun at the same time.